So I am here today with Melody from Prayer Bear Ministries, and I'm excited about this because with all the chaos and the turmoil and everything horrible that's going on in the world, there are wonderful anointed women of God who spend their time, their talent, and their treasure to pour into the life of people who are sick and in desperate need of a touch from God. Melody, welcome.
Thank you.
And thank you for all that you do to enrich the lives of so many people, children, adults, anyone who needs a prayer bear.
My pleasure.
Tell us a little bit how you got started.
I got started probably about 3 years ago, donating them to Faxon Cancer Hospital.
Where'd the idea come from?
That was all God. A friend of mine years ago had passed away from cancer and knew all the ins and outs of dealing with the hardships of cancer and going to battle alone and just never having anybody there when you need them. Sometimes you just want something to hold on to.
Amen.
Whether you're an adult or a child.
Amen.
Doesn't matter, because the news when you hear cancer is quite impacting.
Yes.
So with that thought in mind from 8 years ago, I knew that God wanted me to do something. And these guys came about through prayer, through dedicating myself to the Lord. And it was a succession of events that happened that ended up having the bears created and then donated. The first 2 years was anonymously, and then as time grew on, God kept spurring me on, saying, you know, we need to pray for people that are going through these things. We can't just leave it as a bear. We want them to be ministered to. So it became what it is now, actually, through our church, where we have a full gamut of prayer. We have a pastor on staff that works with the care ministry that we're involved in. And it's been quite inspiring to people that are going through very hard circumstances.
Our God is a hands-on God. He's an up-close and personal God. He wants to hold on to us. And from Scripture, a point of contact is very powerful. The Apostle Paul used aprons and his handkerchiefs that were used as a point of contact of prayer between the anointed and the sick. And that's what these bears are also. They're also full of anointed time of prayer, so that when somebody gets a hold of one of these, they're holding physical prayer that has been prayed over them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you've delivered how many bears to date, do you think?
Between 250 and 300.
250 bears, all crafted by your own hands, or do you have
Just me.
just you?
I don't count anymore, because it's not about the count. It's about doing it for God. So It's His glory. He's the reason that we do it.
So
to give hope.
They've gone to sick children. I know that I personally have delivered to an adult that was struggling with an issue, and she was just as thrilled as any child would be, as I would be. These are wonderful.
It's amazing. I don't hand them out anymore. I have other people do it, because it's a ministry all in itself, is when people get to hand them out. But they go to places like I started at Faxon Cancer Hospital.
Mm-hmm.
I also give them to hospice, Joseph's Experience, Battered Women's Center. There's a few others, but some of them are just people that contact me that request a bear. Or God just kind of
Says
through the
that
Holy
one.
Spirit, let's give this one to this one. So we do. And then there's other ends of it where we show appreciation. So you'll see a few of the bears on Facebook that have gold hearts. Those gold hearts are for people that have inspired us, and we appreciate and we admire because they're walking the Lord. And it's just a little way to say thank you for all that you've done and how much of an inspiration you are.
I see. Tell us about this heart and what's in there.
You can pull that right out if you want. That is, it's got heart-shaped confetti in it. for the person when they open it on purpose. There's a memory verse or a verse there. That one might be Jeremiah 29:11. I have a couple of different ones that we have started to expand to beyond that.
This one is Romans.
8:38 and 39. That one was actually inspired by Pastor Jim Sinikowski. That was one of his favorite verses. My favorite verse was the Jeremiah 29:11. Speaking about how, for I know the plans that I have for you, not to harm you, but for your good. And to me, that was very encouraging. And with working with the care ministry through Redeemer Church, we have, you start to grow and evolve in this ministry of where we need to expand and get a broader scale of what verses we should use. That verse, Romans 8:38 and 39, came to mind. Yes. That nothing can separate us from the love of God.
Right. And it's always good to be thinking about expanding and growing, because when God puts his hands on things, they do expand and they do grow. Great big ministries started as small gestures, and this is more than a small gesture. This is a wonderful show of love and support and prayer. It lets people know. When people are in trouble and they're hurting, they want to know that somebody cares, and they want to have something to hang on to, and this bear fits all of that and more. And I really appreciate, as a sister in the Lord, all that you do to help others and to help them get up on their feet through this, through your time, your talent, and your treasure.
It's not really anything I've done. It's all God. All God through me, because he's given me so much that I feel blessed to do so. So I can't take any credit for any of it.
I understand.
Period. So,
but you could say no.
I could say no.
You could say no because God gave us free will.
But I
you
really
didn't say no, and the rest of us are grateful for that. That you didn't say no. That you didn't. Melody, tell us some of the people, not by name obviously, but tell us some of the situations that the bears have been delivered into.
There's been probably just as many adults as there are kids. A lot of people think that these are geared towards just children, and they're not. They're for anyone going through difficulty of any kind. Some of the circumstances have been even like newborn children we've reached out to, and in that aspect it's more of giving hope to the parents that we are there praying for you, we're here for you, we care about you. We've had some newborns that have birth defects. We've had children with cancer, leukemia, brain cancer, terminal brain cancer, adults with brain cancer, situations, home environments that aren't good, not necessarily cancer, but just giving people a ray of hope to hang on to and to maybe help think outside of the box that God really does love you, he's there for you, and this is just a little way to show it. That you are being thought of, you are being cared for.
Obviously. There's a lot of... How much time does it take to make one of these guys?
6 to 8 hours, usually.
6 to 8 hours times... She doesn't want to talk about numbers, no. But 6 to 8 hours times 300 and something bears. That's a lot of ministry hours. That's a lot of time. That's a lot of time that you're investing in the lives of other people. And again, thank you for that.
Love our God.
Absolutely. Every good and perfect gift comes down
labor.
From God.
That's just it. It's not. There's no labor in it. It is an act of love because He's given so much. So.
That's awesome. That's awesome. How does somebody get in touch with you?
There is a Facebook page, Prayer Bear Ministry, that we have that has contact information on it. Also, Redeemer Church. You can contact the church itself. The Prayer Bear Ministry is also part of the Redeemer care ministry that is involved in the congregation of the church.
Okay.
So that's another avenue.
Melody, how about extra hands? How about women who can crochet? Is this crocheting or knitting?
This is crocheting.
This is crocheting.
With-
So anybody that can crochet can make this bear?
They absolutely can, and the pattern is actually on the Prayer Bear Ministry site, which is through Facebook. So yeah, or they can contact me through my cell phone, and I will be more than happy to get that pattern in their hands. So
And they
help
can
out.
help you.
Yeah, because the more hands, the better, and the farther we can reach. So that's one of my goals.
I know that at one time a lot of bears went out to people struggling with addiction. Is that right also?
Yes, actually, we started that in part of Redeemer, but some of that actually was to raise funds for a trip that one of our pastors was taking to India.
And you donated
24.
24 bears. I knew there was a lot of,
That one was a lot.
yes, that was a lot. I love these little guys. They're so beautiful and so delicately handcrafted, and they're big. These are big bears. I love that. I love what you do. I love who you are, and thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for being obedient to the call that God has placed on your life to put a point of contact in the hands of so many people that are hurting. If everyone did what God called us to do, how much pain and hurt could we all take away? Right?
Amen.
Amen.